Hi, my name's Starsky and welcome to From the Studio on Clubbing TV. In this episode, I'm going to take a look at a collaboration between Sonic Potions and Erica Synths. It's the LXR O2 drum machine. And all of that was coming out of this one little box. It's got 6 voices. The voices are like little synth engines with about 30 different parameters you can tweak on each. So you can do bass lines, you can do cowbells, kick drums, snare drums, lead lines, all sorts of things, all within this. So even though it's quite a basic sort of layout on the front, there's loads of stuff in here to have a little play with. Should we listen to some more of the presets that it comes with first, just to give you an overall idea of the sort of range of sounds it can make? Hopefully you're getting a really good feel for what the actual box can sound like. It's digital, but it does have sort of analog flexibility in that you can go in and really tweak each of those drum sounds. But let's just take a look at the actual unit itself, see what we got here. It's a really nice, solid little metal box. This feels nice and chunky and I have no concerns whatsoever about taking this out and playing it live. We've got full-size quarter-inch jack outputs. We've got 2 main outputs, a left and a right, and we can assign the sounds to any of those outputs. So we've got 6 sound engines and we've got 4 outputs. Full-size MIDI in and out, USB for MIDI. We've got a micro SD card slot and that's used for storing all the information in this. So you've constantly got to save stuff, otherwise turn it off, you're going to lose everything. Then we've got some sync options with the reset in, the clock in and the clock out. And we've got a 3.5mm headphone jack as well. On the front panel, we've got the independent volume sliders. We've got an encoder that's used for pretty much everything. We've got these 4 encoders for altering the parameters on the screen, which again, we can actually change all those with the data encoder. Press that and we can see the actual full names of what we're changing. We've got 2 rows of buttons. The bottom row is like the sequencer buttons, the XOX style programming modes. We can see here we've got the kick drum playing on these steps. Transport and shift buttons here. Got voice mode, which is where we change the parameters for the voice. Got performance mode. and that's used for overall control of the pattern when you're performing. And these buttons here become mutes. When we're in voice mode, we're changing the parameters of each of the voices. And these buttons here select the voice, and here we can see how each of the voices is programmed on the sequencer, and the synth parameters are displayed on the screen here. Oscillator, amplitude envelope, modulation envelope, FM. We've got a little click in there as well, so really small short samples for the transients. Filter parameters, LFO, and then the mix. So each of the voices has slightly different parameters in there, but basically they all fit into these categories. But let's take a look at one of the tones now, shall we? So we dig a little bit deeper into how you program something like a kick sound. So starting with the initial kick patch. That's really nice anyway, that, doesn't it? Nice and meaty. We can change the tuning, we can change the oscillator shape. So there's lots of good starting points there, and you can already hear the flexibility in there. Let's put it back to something a bit more normal, shall we? Let's change the volume envelope on that. It's a really simple envelope, but it's a very simple attack decay envelope, but you can change the slope of that decay, so you can do all sorts of really nice fine tuning of it. Then we've got the modulation envelope. And you can hear that's modulating the pitch. Then we've got FM. Now, just to go back to the initial sound, I can go shift and reload. Back to the normal sound. Let's put a bit of FM on there. Should we take a look then at how we'd create a sequence on it? So there's nothing playing at the minute. Let's go into the kick. Pretty simple already. Let's add something on the clap. So let's add some automation to that to change the pitch of it or something, shall we? We've got 2 automation lanes per track, plus we've got volume modulation as well. So you've actually got 3 modulation lanes you can use on these. And we just press record and do it. Let's have a little play. Sounding nice and crazy. Take some of those notes out. And now let's put that through some effects, shall we? So if we go into the mix page, we go to the second page, and we've got the outputs there. Let's put it into the effects output, go into the effects page, and then we've got various effects. We've got drive, got a ring modulation, compressor, and a delay. So let's try the delay, shall we? Let's add some delay to it. Let's change the delay times. All slightly crazy, I know, but you can get some really nice things once you start tweaking with it. Oh, it's getting nice, that, isn't it? So every time I start playing with it, I just sort of disappear for 20 minutes and get lost in it and come up with all these different grooves, which is really nice. There's another little bit I've not showed you yet, and that's called Morph. The Morph function allows you to have 2 kits in the memory, and you morph from one to the other. Let's load Easy Yo. whatever that is. So that's one kit, and let's try another one. Okay, so let's load in Brownie, and now let's load in that Simmons one, or whatever it was called, into the morph kit. So now we should morph from the Brownie kit to this Simona kit. All sorts of madness and really nice bits in the middle, and what you can do is you can take the bit in the middle that you like and you can save that as a new kit. That's quite nice. So if we go save the morph, we'll save the morph as Simona 2, shall we? Now that's saved as a new kit, which is really cool. So I've not gone into every single little detail of this. Hopefully I've given you a really good flavour of it, but now you've heard what it can do, is it for you? I really like this thing. It's got a real character. It feels like it's got a beating heart inside it. It takes you to places most things don't take you to. It's got that sort of analog feel in that you can go in and you can really change and tweak all those drum sounds, but it's got a real sort of nasty digital edge to the sounds as well, especially when you're using that sample rate reducer. But for me, it's great. It's £500, so it's not cheap. But if you've got a lot of little drum machines, you've got a lot of little sort of Volcas and other bits and bobs, and you want to sort of upgrade, this is a really, really decent option. So I hope that was of some use, and if it was, don't forget you can catch it whenever you like on our Clubbing TV official YouTube channel on the From the Studio playlist. And if you are into your synths and your drum machines, do check out my Starsky Carr YouTube channel as well, where I've got a more in-depth look at this, as well as lots of other things. So I will see you in the next episode of From the Studio.